we'll do the intro video. I think that's a good plan.
All right.
Maybe. All right, welcome to Axie Chat, everyone. I just got up from my nap, so I think we're ready to go. Not true at all. It's always a scramble at the end, depending on what we want to try to accomplish throughout our Axie Chat session. And I think we're trying to accomplish a lot, so we'll see how it all goes. How are you doing, Enjoi?
I'm actually, you know what? I've got a terrible headache.
Oh no!
I might fall asleep on you. I'm trying to drink the pain away. So let's let's see how we can
Nice.
do with this thing. Yeah,
Sweet.
it'll be tough, but man, I can't miss it. I think we're on the halfway mark to a year.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
Definitely can't miss him at this point. Um, as baronar was saying, so I was having a good time in chat before we popped up here. Got a lot of good feedback about needing to add a 10 minutes to launch sort of thing, so people can get in the stream chat and start talking and
Heck yeah.
and getting hyped up, which is awesome. Thank you guys for the feedback. Thanks for the advice. But man, you guys were killing me with the baronar jokes, with just the hey, we're gonna get started in 15 minutes and it ran a few minutes late, all that sort of stuff. Killing me.
Yeah, well, thanks for hanging. We're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be good. Baronar standard time. It's always kind of that BST. Anyway, yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll get something for you guys to do while we just finish things up. Yeah, so a lot happening. Really excited to talk Axie Chat tonight. Really excited to talk Axie just in general. Things are just awesome in the NFT space. I haven't actually had a chance to look at Ethereum. It looked like it kind of went up and down a little bit today. Have you caught it? Did you see
A,
what it's
a
doing?
little bit of flux, like always. I mean, things are moving, things are grooving. This is, I mean, we had a dip in ETH. If you haven't looked at the charts, I mean, we went down to, I think, high 13s for a little bit. We're back in the 15s, so we're doing okay. We're doing okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I mean, nothing too crazy. I'm okay with where things are at.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I think, like some people have said, this is a good test. It's just going to chase some people out who can't handle the crypto space, and NFTs are still really hot, hot as pancakes, and we'll just see how all that rides out. Axie Infinity is a completely different beast, though. You and I have kind of talked about this a little bit, and if anybody saw my tweet today, Axie Infinity is not your drop hype and runaway type of project. This thing is here to establish a new digital nation. So this is something that's for real. This is long term. Gonna be great in the short term too. There's just so much coming so very soon. The roadmap tells us that we have a lot of stuff happening soon. I do kind of feel like we're maybe 30, 45, 60 days kind of behind the roadmap. Is that kind of what you're thinking too, Enjoy?
Dude, I don't I don't know that I agree with that.
Okay, good.
And again, guys, part of the reason why we're late is because Bernard does such a good job putting together these slides every week. He wants to add everything in. He wants to make sure that these are educational as possible. Um, so I'm not sure if you threw in a screenshot of the roadmap here. But we've still got a month left in the quarter,
Yeah.
and then we've got a big second quarter. In the roadmap, they were talking about Battles V2 coming out end of this quarter.
Yeah.
So we're here. We're out of updates. They had the update before the last season start. It was a little bit different than what we had expected. Um, I don't know. I feel like we're potentially coming up on something. The only other thing that's really in the that we're all waiting for is the next step of Ronin, where they move all these axes to.
Yeah.
And what's next there, right? The cutoff for moving over your landed items was Sunday.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
So, I
Yesterday
mean, it
was the loom support ending.
okay.
So yeah, yeah.
So what? So do you think that that was the reason, the loom support ending, which was why that was the cutoff,
I don't
or do
know.
you
I
think?
think it was just the same time. I think they kind of decided to end the loom support just
Okay,
right after the cutoff. But that's just a guess on my part. And yeah,
yeah,
Indus, he said Trunk said Ronan in May, but he also kind of hedged on that too. So I don't
okay,
know. It's interesting. And Trunk did say that, and that's kind of why I was saying what I was saying.
gotcha.
Is it kind of seemed like that's even when I spoke with him, he kind of made it sound like um, he felt like the roadmap was maybe a month ahead of what they'd planned, just because of how the timing of the Binance launch went.
Sure.
So yeah, I
And
mean, hopefully we can get. Hopefully G Host decides to pop in and tell us, because he always tells us everything that we want that we want to know exactly.
yeah,
He doesn't ever.
Jiho is the loose lips that's keeping this ship afloat. Uh,
Yeah,
I'm looking back here and it says Axie's migrated to Ronin Q1, which I know that we're anticipating being a little bit late. So,
yeah,
realistically, even if they don't do it this month, next month, May, as apparently Trung alluded to, my point is, if the deadline to get the land and items off of Loom over to Ronin is done, their focus is going to be on to the next thing and supporting the people migrating over, because the beginning of that was a little bit rocky, right?
yeah,
People had some issues.
yeah. Some did.
Um so so getting that out of the backlog, not having to assist people with moving stuff over, and I'm sure there's going to be people who weren't listening to that deadline, and they're going to have to do something manually, and it's
Right.
going to be a giant pain in the butt, but hopefully their time frees up and moves over to the bigger and better things.
Yeah, yeah. I think honestly, I think that with Axies, it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge because it's not like Loom. It's actually on main chain, and so it'll be interesting to see how that migration takes place, and how they pause the contracts for the Axies on the main chain. It's going to be way interesting. So well, let's talk about what's happening. We can talk more about that, and I'm excited for today. So let's talk about the marketplace right out of the gates. I think that
Let's go.
it's really good stuff
Dude,
happening.
crazy week. Baronar's dumping.
No, no, no. I don't feel like I'm dumping at all. In fact, I keep repricing things upward, and again, I don't know. I just because I have a couple. Yeah, I'm sensitive to that because I'm very bullish on Axie. I do have a bunch of land plots, so I'm just trying to
No,
let more people acquire land. That's all.
look,
That's all.
I'm poking fun for a reason, I think, and part of it is because we've got a couple people that make fun of us every time
Yeah.
somebody sells something, which is healthy. I think it's good, right? It's like your little brother poking at you if you do something they don't approve of or if they don't understand. I last Axie Chat, I was talking about repricing or taking things off the market during the Axie Chat, and I missed a bundle that I had put on 2 weeks before that I thought was way overpriced, and apparently the market caught up to me and I
Yeah.
missed it.
Yeah.
And so I sold 5 Mystics, and I mean it is what it is, and I got ribbed a little bit.
Yeah,
And
I mean
I
those were
mean same
nice. That
thing,
was a nice, yeah,
but
yeah,
but this is my point: is the market is freaking moving, and
yeah,
like we're trying to play the game. Like my goal was to sell something, and maybe pick up something cheaper. Like if somebody really wanted it,
yeah.
great. But and then try
It
and pick up
catches you.
something cheaper to replace. But dude,
Yeah,
it's catching you. It's
yeah.
catching you. You can't play those games anymore.
Well, yeah, and most people notice that almost every time I pick up something, usually it's followed by. I mean, I am able to make a sale. It's usually followed by a purchase. But yeah, no, it's all good. It's an interesting situation. I mean, I pulled some stuff completely off the market. I just felt like it was too good. And I think other people are going to do that too. Well, look at the numbers, man. There's not a lot on the market, and that's part of the reason I think that we're seeing some demand is because the supply is quite limited. So let's talk about Axis. Axis is doing really good. It had a good day today. It does seem to kind of. I know that Jiho disagrees with this, but feels like feels like it does kind of trend a little bit with the crypto market. Seemed to go up today as Ethereum was kind of doing better, and then as it declined a little bit, seemed like Axis declined as well. I don't know. It also seemed to do better. I saw a chart, and I wish I would have put it up here, that has also the ETH ratio comparison. That's a really interesting chart to look at if anybody wants to pull that up at some point. I'll try to remember to do it next week. But
Yeah, I think that'd be fun to look at.
it's really interesting. Axis is doing really well, and will continue to do well. I expect it to go on a tear really soon. I mean, back to where they're at. I think that that's an important thing to talk about, maybe a little bit more. I never know when they say something if they're just trying to kind of mollify our expectations, just to make sure that we're not like getting overly excited about stuff. And thanks, Britt. Thanks for the sub. And so sometimes I think they put time frames out there. I didn't think we were. I thought we were a ways off, and then all of a sudden, the migration is happening with respect to the land items. I really did. I didn't think it was coming as quickly as it was, and then all of a sudden it happened. And that was kind of the same with Axis, man. Like, remember we were talking about it. We were talking about, I think that literally the day before they dropped on Binance, we were saying, I don't know when it's coming. It could be a while. It could be real soon. We don't know. And then like it was the next day, right? That's my memory.
I'm still convinced they watch this and get an idea about our sentiment, and the second we lose a little bit of hope, they just slam it on us.
Well, I'm hopeless, man. I can't
but
see anything. I'm just kidding.
but listen, I think there's a couple different trains of thought here. One, they have to be very careful with the financial aspect of this, right? Because this is an entirely new market. This whole games with financial assets kind of built into it is completely new. They don't know where it's going to go. They don't want to get stuck with people, potentially losing money. And really the point of it isn't necessarily to speculate. The point of it is the play to earn aspect. Speculation's a whole nother piece of the game. So I think it's smart of them to focus on the piece that they can control, which is the building the economy, which is, the harvesting of different materials and, building it up and all that sort of stuff. And I think they've done a pretty good job of keeping away from the actual financial values of specific things, other than, hey, this mystic sold for a certain amount. They're sticking to the facts. Never mind the what it could be.
No,
for the most part.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense. And again, I have a really strong feeling that, again, no matter what, we're only a couple months away from Axie migration, and that's just going to be gigantic for the space. We're already seeing with just kind of gas going from mid 100s to even low 100s to in the 70s and 80s. Golly, you see the marketplace pick up. People are just dying to pick up Axies and have their own teams.
Even with the high gas, and I mean the gas over the last couple of days, dude, I've had a couple times where it's been over an ETH for a transaction.
It's crazy.
But I've also had a couple times where it's been $3 or $4, which has been pretty good too. So I feel like we're getting a few little windows where people are able to come in and snipe Axies for cheap. And if you're new, if you're just kind of keeping an eye on the space and are waiting for your time. It's tough that you have to wait for that stuff, and hopefully Ronin will come out soon, and Axie will be migrated. But there are some windows there. Again, it's painful for me to say that, because I just wish everybody could jump in and start enjoying. But well,
and I mean some Axies are selling. I mean, just the normal quote unquote Axies, good Axies.
Oh my gosh!
But they're selling for a ton, and I can't tell if it's wash trading like some people are saying or what's going on for sure. But wow, some of those going for 0.4, anywhere between 0.1 and 0.4 Ethereum, and man, that's incredible. Yeah, and the market is really really tight. It's just part of what's happening. So let's look at SLP.
Yeah.
SLP is doing good. It's staying in that 3 to 5 cents range per SLP, which I think is a great range. I feel good about this range. It's obviously going to fluctuate, go up and down. Who knows what will come of the market? But I like this range, and you and I were talking a little bit before, and I just the more and more I think about the tokenomics at today, okay, just today, the
Hmm.
more I feel like this little token, this this small love potion, is really a giant in that it fuels interest and fuels the excitement about Axie Infinity and powers adoption moving forward even still. It's a neat little thing we have going here.
Well, again, the goal of this game has always been this play to earn piece. And SLP for, over a year was the only aspect of the game that made it a play to earn thing, unless you count breeding, and selling your Axies. But for what, 2 years of the game's lifespan, there was zero there was zero real economic like play to earn incentives. And then they came out with this kind of test token SLP.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's what's brought most of the attention to the space.
Yeah, and it's great because when you have that little engine that could that's fueling the rest of the space, it's just awesome because then you have people who keep coming back and new people who keep coming in, and it's great that way. I'm so very grateful for SLP, and honestly, I'm just really happy to see it continuing to hold value and maintain value. Uh, so
Hmm.
long as Axies continue to sell for good rates, SLP should continue to have high value. That's the thing that I've always connected SLP to, and that's Axie price. And yeah, it's exciting. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Yep. And I did want to say too, we're talking about the price going up, and I had talked last week about Pollution, who I think's watching right now, keyed me into the ratio between Axies on the market and Axies for sale.
Yeah.
And the number of Axies for sale, I've been keeping an eye on this ever since, has been going down week over week. So I think when he first keyed me in, or a few weeks ago, it was like 16,000. Last week it was 15,400. So over 600 taken off the market. And now it's 14,746. So another 700 taken off the market
Gone.
in the last week.
It's
And
crazy.
this is, and yeah, and this is what's potentially going um, to affect us. There's going to be a liquidity crisis at some point
Yeah.
regarding Axies on the market. There's not going to be enough Axies on the market.
Well, and that's just to
And
have the team, right? The ability to play. If you want to
right,
have your energy increases, you can't just stop at 3. You've got to get 10, and then you've got to get 20.
right.
So it's a great design. It's a great plan. It makes sense, and again, it encourages holding and investing in these digital assets inside of the experience, which is exactly what we all want and what we need.
Sure. And I mean, look at the growth over the last couple months. We're at 30,000 people in the Discord, and what was the last number? 35,
38,
38,
I think it was.
38,000. So
Uh,
we've had a growth of 8,000 people joining the Discord. If you look at that 14,000, 500 or so Axies available on the market,
yeah,
that's only enough for almost 5,000 people to have a team. So
yeah,
that's less than the amount of people who have joined Discord in the last couple weeks. Just pointing that out there. I think it's
yeah,
interesting and something to keep an eye on.
yeah. Pretty cool. All right. This one I wanted to point out because this is kind of a flip flop. I just pulled the four lowest or the four cheapest Axies in the market that qualify for the WOE token. And so, we've got the WOE token actually priced above floor origin Axies right now. Take take note of that and do what you will as it makes
So,
sense.
so, real quick, anybody who scoops up that cheapest one right now, there's 0.12 ETH. You convert that Axie into WoW, you sell it on whatever Uniswap, and you've got a free 0.12 ETH. So minus gas fees, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. The gas is
We'll,
always the
we'll see.
killer.
We'll see who's listening. Who can get there first?
Yeah. And I didn't just do it, so I wanted to show it.
Gosh, there's so much alpha in Axie Chat.
Yeah, man, it's so cool. So yeah, I mean, that's just great. So that's great for WoW. It's great for Origins. It's just awesome, and I can understand why. Like, if you think that the pool has more attractive Origins, you want to take your chances at holding those tokens to potentially unwrap. I understand that too. It's an interesting move. All right, so hey, land. Holy Moses, holy balls of fire. Um,
Those are very different things.
Yes. So amazingly, I see all these little pluses there to the side of the land plots on the.
Yep.
So those that are listening, the screen is showing our normal comparison week to week of the different plots and how they're doing and their comparative prices to each other and to chess price. And then I also have been trying to add the actual numbers of sales, but the 10 pages wasn't enough that you can get to on the marketplace in the dashboard. So I could only go back to, I think it was the 26th. So I'm missing 3 days. I think it was 3 days of land sales that so I just put pluses on all these because I don't know what the total amounts are. But that's incredible, right? Look at those numbers. It's
Yeah.
it's
I
so
mean,
cool.
it's definitely been moving. I mean, we went through a dry spell where there was literally no land sold for, weeks. And I feel like lately it's almost keeping up. Well, it's not keeping up with Axies. Axies are just freaking flying. Plus, I mean, the bot's kind of broken some of the
Yeah.
time. It's tripling up. But man, I'm just seeing a lot of this stuff selling, and it's great to see because it's all new names coming into the space too. It's new people getting involved, and realistically, spreading the love around, having more people out there playing, is really what's going to give life to the game, anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, and thanks for the sub, Alts, man. So cool. Yeah, and so I mean, what this really means is people are finally really seeing that this land stuff is gonna return value, and I'm happy for people. I think it's great, and you and I were early adopters. We grabbed a bunch long ago. Because we saw the potential, and it's wonderful to see the potential starting to get closer and closer to coming to be. I don't know what it means for the Axie migration to Ronin to be maybe a little bit behind what that means for land, but it kind of feels like the team has split themselves into groups, and I'm not sure that one relates to the other as much as you and I might think. I'm not so sure like, oh, we have to do this and then this happens next. I don't know that it goes that way because what I've understood from the team is it's kind of they kind of separate themselves into project groups and then they move
Yep,
forward. So
correct.
I don't know that if they are behind on the Axie migration, if that affects delay in land. I know that that's high on their priority list. We still haven't even talked about the numbers here. But you saw what Jiho tweeted, right, today, or not tweeted, Discorded, whatever we call those, discos, whatever.
None of that. But no,
Okay.
I don't think I did see. What did he say?
Oh, you didn't see the one where he says that it looks like the first iteration or the first game on top of land is going to be that people in the chat liked it, is going to be a form of MMO RTS. So
He really said that?
yeah, he really said it. People, okay, come on, people in the chat, tell Enjoi he wasn't paying
Yeah,
attention.
tell me what's up. But I mean, that makes sense because when he was on here, what, 2 weeks ago? Am I
Yeah.
losing my mind? Has it been
Yeah, it
2 weeks
was. It was
already?
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
He definitely alluded to these kind of node battles, teaming
Yep.
up on with people. Definitely more of a RTS sort of thing. So I mean, it's very possible that he's just kind of reiterating what he's already told us,
Yeah.
which makes sense. I mean, that really is the first game, unless you consider decorating your plot and harvesting and fighting Chimera and all that stuff. Um,
Yeah, and so
but
for me, I go to, okay, what does that mean, MMORTS? Like there have been
hmm
lots of attempts to do major MMORTSs. Even Ultima tried one, and they ended up closing their server. There's been a lot of attention. What Age of Empires did too, and they did not continue. Um, it's closed now. I think they quit that one a few years ago. So I'm really interested to see. Like it could be really amazing, to be honest, because it may be almost. I'm sure there are some like Travia, or however you say that one. I know that one has some aspects to it. The stupid one I played forever, King of Avalon, had some MMO RTS to it. So there are some out there, especially mobile games. I don't know. Can you call Clash of Clans an MMORTS? It has
I
aspects
don't
of
know
it,
that I don't know that I'd call it an MMO by any means.
right?
I mean, it makes sense. Everything that we've heard so far kind of does put those two things together. Yeah, he said the first game built on top of land is like an MMO RTS. That's how we're thinking of it at the moment.
Right.
Um,
So to me, that
so
means like you're building. It's a kingdom building, and I don't know if you have a protected period or if you're protected when you're not online or how that works, but it's MMORTS means like you are kind of constantly in the battle grind to some extent. Some of them have like shielding events or periods where you're protected, or that you can lock down certain resources and keep them safe.
hmm
But yeah, no, it's really
that
really
would make
interesting.
sense. Do you recall? I think when we were going through the game files of Project K. Project K,
Yes,
Project L. I'm
Project
getting
K.
confused between my project and letters.
No, it's K, and I know
But
exactly what you're talking about.
there
Yep,
was a resource chest.
correct.
Um, which what is the point of that? If it's maybe to keep your resources, safe from other people attacking your land. Hmm. I don't.
Yeah.
I got to think about this now. Um,
So again, I know we have a variety of people that are listening and a variety of people that are have different gaming levels of experience. Some people are just kind of interested in the NFT crypto aspect of this, but RTS, we're talking about real time strategy games. So like StarCraft would be an example of a real time strategy game. There's a whole bunch of them out there. But MMO adds a whole different dimension to it. It makes it, you take Project K like you're talking about, and then you add an RTS aspect to it, it suddenly becomes a whole different experience, different server load, different level of interaction
mhm.
there, and it's exciting. But yeah, you're right. There was a chest that specifically said it was, storage and would keep resources safe. You look at the other things we kind of you peeped through looking through the code, the
Dude,
lumber yard and the stone quarry type of things.
yep, for automation of harvesting.
Yep.
Dude, I was thinking today, I can't wait for them to release like one more thing that I can snoop through. I just want to snoop some more. That's so much fun, figuring out stuff that's not publicly released yet. Although now that they know, they'll probably lock it down better. But anyways, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. I know different people have different feelings about like Clash of Clans, and yeah, I've played quite a bit of it, and I've enjoyed it at times. I feel like this is a whole different beastie though. What we're talking about here is a kingdom wide, and again, it makes sense to me why land would have to be kept at a fairly reasonable quantity, because you can't just have hundreds of thousands of land plots and have a game like that and have it function reasonably. You take World of Warcraft and some of the other MMOs that are out there, EverQuest, and they actually, they have zones to handle loads on servers. And when huge events
Hmm.
happen, it becomes a tremendous load on the server side, and has a real hard time handling that. So, that was one of the things I was most excited about when we had Project K, was seeing all of our assets that are, being queried from a blockchain, um, actually interactable in real time, and with, you know, hundreds of people logged in at the same time managing, thousands of assets.
Right. And
So,
that was the big piece for me too, because I know, on the MMO side, having all those people logging in and being able to control them, and it not, your movement not glitching out somebody else, that's a huge engineering feat.
yes.
So they've already got a lot of that stuff figured out, and obviously scaling is a big question.
Yep.
But that's very promising for me that what we tested, what's not even finished yet, is already functioning pretty
Capable.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely agree. All right, so let's look at these numbers, man. These are exciting numbers.
super exciting.
Yeah. So we have, we'll start at the top. We have Savannah increasing, 0.15 basically. We have Forest increasing zero point 0.3, almost point, yeah, almost zero point 0.4, really close to zero point 0.4. We
Hmm.
have Arctic increasing zero point 0.5, which makes sense. It's still behind on the multipliers. And we have Mystic increasing by an entire Ethereum, a little bit
Yep.
more than that. All of that makes perfect sense to me. That is the right pathway. That absolutely is the trajectory we're on. The one thing that I'm a little concerned with is the quantity of plots available. And I'm not saying that's a reason that I've listed some plots, but we do need to have some plots for sale. It's pretty important, that people have the ability to at least acquire some of these assets, even if maybe it's getting more and more supply restricted, and therefore demand heavy. You look at the multipliers, and still, that Savannah is a heavy multiplier from chest. Um, Forest is increased significantly too. Look at that. That's almost double, man. Do you see that? The
Yeah.
2.53 times to basically 5 times.
Yeah.
So people caught Forest.
So we talked a little bit about, different metaverse sort of virtual worlds last week. And I did a little bit of research, and it kind of strengthened my opinion about where some of this stuff should be. Um, and not even talking earning potential, because that's not there in most of
Yeah.
these other platforms. But their higher end land is anywhere between, 5 ETH and freaking like 20, 30 ETH. So I still think that Mystics are highly undervalued, and I think that everything, at least in line with the ratio that we kind of set out,
Yeah.
I think realistically we'd like to see all these numbers, these multipliers at about the same level. Savannah, the reason why we think it's so much higher is just because it's the easiest entry point,
Yeah.
for people who don't want to blow bunch of money, on either making an estate or, seeing what this whole thing is. So I understand that, and I'm fine with that. But my point is I think that Mystics should be quite a lot higher based on some of these other projects, and everything else should be dragged up with that. But
Yeah.
again, I know you guys like to call this FOMO chat. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to get anybody excited or anything like that. Just apples to apples comparison. Of what pricing looks like.
Well, and,
I
look at it from different projects too. I mean,
right.
again, this is a project that has materials that talk about some form of projection of utility, of use, of how things are going to work, how different assets are going to interrelate with each other, how that's going to take place. And you look at other ones, and it's just not clear. It's not, to me, it's not as obvious. And so, um, I mean, I've looked recently. I've started looking. We had a little discussion about the VR headset stuff, and so I got onto some of the different ones and looked. And I don't know. I feel really strong about Axie Infinity. I feel like land and land play makes sense, and I'm excited to to be on it. Sorry guys,
Right.
gathering wood.
We
Yeah,
know.
the rarest of rare. Um, Hey, so on this, I just realized because of kind of the direction we decided to go for this Axie Chat, um, you know, AK had a giant sale this last week, and it
Yeah.
kind of happened earlier in the week, and so I just realized I didn't have a slide, but that was huge, gigantic. I mean, it ended up being what 105. I think AK's on here, 105 Ethereum, uh, for a forest plot. I know, I can't believe it. Well, you do get a slide, but it's not about the land
Yeah.
sale. Unbelievably,
It's the
um,
only reason he tuned in,
I
man.
know,
Come on.
I know. So yeah, I mean, and that's one thing that's missing on here when we see the forest plots. That's why I'm saying like it went over 10 pages. We see 17 here, but I think it was 94 plots. Yeah, AK's given us the amounts. It was beautiful stuff too. Riverside, just glorious land for sale, and congrats to AK, and it's Blackpool, right? That was the acquisition group. Maybe AK can tell us. Yeah, it was a hedge
Yeah.
fund that was acquiring it. I actually got on, and yeah, Blackpool HQ, and got on and kind of checked that out. And it's really interesting. I hadn't realized how many different hedge funds and groups are eyeing Axie Infinity until just recently. It's really neat. I mean, and I think it's going to create a lot of opportunities for people um, getting involved with land play, potentially renting land play, or commission based, kind of like the Scholar land play, where it's a share of resources gathered or something like that. But the whole guild aspect, golly, uh, it's really AK's telling me I'm too pessimistic with my land valuation, and I could be. I mean, you get a sale like that, it's incredible. The things that are going to get harder and harder are estates to get and acquire, and I'm sure that's why you have a little bit of heartache about that Mystic sale. Um,
Yeah. And well, I mean, so there's a couple different pieces of this. Is one, Blackpool's a, like you mentioned, it's a hedge fund. It's a quantitative hedge fund for NFTs, which, there's been more and more of these popping up. And I think that the more, you know, the more large sales in NFTs that pop up, the more opportunities that come up, the more utility that we start seeing in some of these things. Um, I think more and more of these little projects, and I say little, I don't know how little they are, are going to start popping up. There's going to be more groups of people getting together to pool their money to make large plays, I believe.
oh,
Um,
definitely.
with Axie, they made a play and picked up a pretty large estate from AK.
Right.
My question is, and we saw Delphi obviously by the Mystics earlier.
Yeah.
Haven't seen much on them buying land. Although
Yeah.
there's been rumors that they definitely would come back and buy land. So my question is how many of these groups might be buying stuff under the radar or trying to
Yeah.
pick up estates, in pieces with, just Lunacian, basic Lunacian, 684 321
Yep.
usernames. I have a feeling
Absolutely.
we'll see a lot more of those. And again, the more and more buyers that we have come in and kind of spread out the distribution of ownership, the harder and harder it is to be able to put this stuff together. So, um, you know, guys, don't undervalue yourself. I don't have a whole lot to say on that, but if people want to put together estates and we're still here 6 months from now, it's going to be a lot harder than it is right now.
Absolutely. All right. So yeah, let's move on. So this did happen. Now the floor on Genesis is 120. Cloud has had his at
I,
100.
I was just gonna say you you didn't leave out Cloud White too.
I
I
didn't.
noticed that you're making up the fat floor on the Genesis plots right now, though. Is
Well,
this a
I
good time for Indus to come in?
yeah, I guess
Indus,
so.
can
Indus
Indus,
can
can we get you to like record yourself saying dumper just so I can press a little
yeah,
button
for
here every once in a
real.
while?
So I mean, I don't know if people know, but I have two Genesis plots. So and one of them I did a unofficial sharding of, and that's the one that's for sale here. I just kind of felt like it made sense to test the waters there. We'll see what happens. I mean, Genesis is a special thing. It's a special type of plot, and there's no way I would be Genesis-less. I
Hmm.
just won't do that. But I mean, it would have to be like Odin level. I don't have Odin's on here, but I think his is like ten
It's like
thousand
20
Ether
20
or
million.
something.
Yeah.
It's quite bullish. But yeah, no, I think Genesis is special. I think that there's something very important to it. But again, like I do want to see some things available. I saw that Norath put his up at the same price, so I may pull mine off. I already was kind of hedging about even having it listed at all. But it'll be interesting. So yeah, genocide. No, I feel really, really grateful and blessed. It's just cool. But yeah, so actually, I guess I'm the floor right now, but I don't see that staying there for very long.
All right,
So
all right.
Cloud, congrats to Cloud, right? And I think that I actually had a slide for AK. I just didn't hit Control P, and we just got so far past the time. That's what I was pausing there for a second. I remember copying it, so hopefully it pops up, but I didn't see it when I just reviewed through. But yeah, Cloud, holy crap, what a cool thing for him. Okay, you can give me hell, my man. But Cloud, just so awesome. He's been talking about forever that he wanted to, use NFTs to let him purchase a kind of small piece of property with uh, a smaller house, right? He just kind of wanted to have a kind of what small footprint,
It's called a tiny home. I
tiny
think you
home.
wanted it to be 100% eco and Axie powered. So
Yeah,
I don't know if that's still in the cards. Last time I talked to him, that it's still a dream of his. So we'll see if that actually funds the dream. But man, wouldn't it be cool to see somebody like actually
buy a
paying for their
house.
electricity, yeah,
Yeah,
paying for their house with. I mean, we've seen people buy bikes and
yep.
motorcycles and all sorts of stuff. So yeah,
Going
it'd
from
be cool to see the
digital
next
land
iteration
to
of that
real life land, that would be
for sure,
quite the
man.
quite the story. So yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes. And just like Jiho says here, well deserved. He's an OG for sure. He's been one of the people that has done a lot for the space, for Axie Infinity. Big community builder for sure. OpenSea is lucky to have him. I know that's where he's spending a ton of his time now. Um, so that was kind. We got to hit items still.
All right, all right. We can talk about
Oh, we still have to
items.
hit Axes too. so, so items. The floor here, Mystics got too low. And this is one where I don't know. Yeah, and as Indus is saying here, there's been a giant plushy pump, which makes absolute sense. You have said Enjoi. What have you been saying about Mystic plushies?
I mean, I think all mystics are still severely underrated. I've been buying them up since like under a tenth of an ETH. Just because I think that they should be way closer to parity with regular mystics, just based on their rarity and what they actually do for your axes.
It's
Plus
incredible. Yeah.
they're freaking cute looking.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean the Mystic plushie floor is up to what point, like almost 2 ETH.
Yeah.
And this is why I think, I think the play right now is still the weapon Mystic items.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
because honestly, I think that they do more for you. They just don't necessarily look as cool. I mean, they look cool, but not cute.
Well, we've talked about this before. This is a little bit deep lore, a little bit deep strategy, and
Yeah,
it's kind of hidden in the materials. And I don't know if it's been made completely clear, but it's there. It kind of appears that you need to have a full set of the mystic weapons in order to accomplish certain tasks and to build certain structures. So again, read through the materials. It's there. We've talked about it before too.
a full set.
A full
I don't
set.
know if I've heard that, but I
Well,
like it.
The Silvergate one says specifically, that it's needed to build certain structures. But taking that to the furthest extent, that would kind of indicate that those weapons are required for structures, which means, again, full set in order to potentially build all the different structures available.
Yeah, and guys, that's, to be honest, outside of the writing, the description of what those things do for you. Shoot, I'm opening up a page and it just
It
launched a
is.
bunch of stuff on me.
Some of it's on the land
But
website, yeah, and
yeah,
some of it
and then,
might not even be there anymore, but I know we have screenshots and stuff.
oh
So
my God. But really, my the reason I started getting behind them in the first place is because it says mystic items provide incredible boost to the Axies living with them and will be required to build certain incredible structures in the future. So who knows what that is? It seems like we can build structures without them.
but not
But
incredible
considering
ones.
there's, but not incredible ones. You're going to be sitting in a mud hut, and I'm going to be sitting in my castle. No,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'll hedge my bet that there's only what 2,600 mystic items, something like that.
Yeah.
And who knows if any more will be created in the future. It's very possible that they show up in
Not
new land
I
sales with
think
new mystic
not
spots.
these, right? But I think we'll have mystic items in the future, but probably
And
not these ones.
and that's what we asked Jiho in the last episode is will they remake the current items? And it sounded like no. So
Yeah.
my bet is that those are incredibly rare. They're not going to be made again, and they help you build cool stuff. So I'm all about that personally.
Yeah, and shout out to SBD. Thank you for the swap on the plushie. So awesome. I really appreciate that. Somehow I ended up with one aquatic in my group here. Hey, thanks for the sub, Arctic. Good to see you, bud. All right, so continuing to move on. I still think items are undervalued, and honestly, I think I've screwed that up. I was saying for months, I think, kind of values that were way too low for items just in general. I think that they're going to become extremely, profoundly important moving forward with land play. I think that it's just going to help so much to have even common items on your land in order to accomplish tasks and be able to
Sure.
do things that you're going to be wanting items really bad. So if you've acquired land, dig deep in your pockets and really consider what's available there and think about items that might benefit your land the most. And we probably ought to do a deep dive again on items fairly soon, maybe next Axie Chat or something like that. So,
Dude, this dude sounds like he's going door to door, taking collections for some charity. Dig deep in your pockets.
for
I can't.
yourself, that's all I'm
For your.
saying.
I guess. All right. For yourself.
Well, yeah. Anyway, we'll have to figure out our own NFT project there, Enjoi, and then we'll be figuring something out. There we go. All right. So hey, Axie's doing great. I don't think that Coco's site here has that floor Axie right. But anyway, it is the right price, and it has a funny name, the floor one right now. Like, do you know which one I'm talking about? I don't know if you
Stinky
look.
poop finger.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. The butthole.
but listen, its owner is Butthole 59. So
So bizarre. Was that that's not that Axie. It's a
no,
petite, but it's not that
it's
one.
still a petite. I don't know what its adult form looks like. I haven't looked
Oh
it up.
my
It could
hell,
be
it's
the same one.
so funny. It's,
Cupid, hair, silence, whisper, Mary. Yeah, that's not the same
yeah,
one.
it's not the same one, but yeah, so weird. MEO's doing great, makes sense. MEO2's still kind of lagging. I think that those probably make sense to pick up. we already kind of talked about Origins, so we'll move on.
Origins popping off. Mystics doing nothing all week. It's a sad
Crazy.
week for Mystics.
It's a strange one. I mean, actually, Mystics have done stuff, but it hasn't been the floor. There have been some pretty
Right.
cool non-floor sales, and that's one of the things we can't capture when we talk about floors and we do analysis based on floors. There's so much action above floor in every one of
Yep.
these asset categories that it's really hard
Well, and that's the
to.
interesting thing, right? Because once you start spending a certain amount of ETH, you're looking at people who may be better off, and you're also looking at like higher tier collectors, I guess. So
Yeah,
it's possible that they're not looking to scoop the cheapest one, but they're looking for a specific attribute or a specific combination
right.
or something like that. So a lot of times they are above floor.
Yeah, I mean, for me, if I actually thought about listing one just because I kind of want to get more of those class on class Mystic Axies where the Mystic part is the same class as the Axie itself. And
Hmm.
I have a couple that aren't, but the reason I have those ones is because I have a trio that have Mystic Ears, three of the different types of Mystic Ears. But don't know. It's hard like to really evaluate it this way. And I think I did put the article that, yeah, I did from CoinGecko. We'll get to that. Double Mystics actually went down just a little bit. There was an interesting poll
Sad.
on Twitter. Did you see? Did you see where they're asking like, do you want like a specific rare single Mystic Axie, or would you rather just have any double Mystic Axie? Interesting idea, huh?
That is interesting. I did not see that.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your bet? What would you
You know, I
prefer?
don't. It's really hard to beat one of the rare class axes with a rare class matching mystic part.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? That's pretty incredible. Pretty rare
Yeah,
too. If rarity's the play, scarcity.
dude. I think I'd stick with double mystic every time.
It's
More is
really
better.
rare. There's so few of them, right?
More is better. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's just my caveman brain speaking.
Yeah. And so here's the triple mystic floor.
Yeah.
And of course the quad mystic floor. Just it's kind of Odin level Genesis price there for that's
It's all
Galadriel,
right.
right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
I'm coming for it. I mean that he's
Yeah.
got to bump the price up. He just made a new profile picture with that Axie in there. Like he can't let
Yeah.
that one go.
Sweet, sweet. All right, so news in the Axie space. This was what I was talking about. CoinGecko had the NFT of the day, and it was Venom. Pretty cool. I mean,
That
Venom's
is
an
cool.
incredible Axie. It's a triple, um, and reptile, right? Yeah,
And all the parts are most of the parts are reptile other
as
than the
well.
ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a cool one.
So that was neat to get some love
Man,
from CoinGecko. We had a little interview with Jiho, the man, the myth, the legend. And I haven't had a chance to ring this one up. Just been a really busy week, but I'm excited to. I heard that it was great and covered a lot of good information. So I'll be listening to it very very soon. Did you catch this one yet?
dude, I didn't.
I
Me
know
me working
we've
from
been
home
both.
kills all of my podcast listening to time. It's a real negative Nancy for my Axie Chat re-listening.
Yeah, I know, man. What's up? Anyway, no,
I don't.
I was the same, just too busy. So I really liked this one, talking about growth. Uh, it's interesting how much adoption is on Android, which I really like Android devices. So that's kind of cool. Those are the ones that seem to be most available to people. So it's
Yeah.
great to see this happening. Just glad to see more and more adoption, and I just don't see how we don't see just completely explosive growth as soon as we get ourselves on Ronin with
I mean,
Axes.
we've got to be one of the most like I'm not talking about like followed. I'm talking about used. We've
Yeah,
got
yeah,
to be one of the most used
for sure.
crypto platforms in general. All, I mean, outside of the big, ETH or Uniswap.
Right, Yeah, no, it has to be. Daily average use has to be one of the highest ones I would expect.
I mean, the only difference is that our NFTs aren't leaving wallets necessarily all the time, right? You're
Right.
playing with the NFTs in your wallet, but they're not
Correct.
moving. You're not, there's no gas being traded
Yeah.
or utilized. So, the traditional charts don't follow that.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I
these
think
charts do.
so rare, right? The football one probably has a
Right.
lot of daily actives. There, I mean, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so this is why I'm actually really excited. So the feature presentation today, we wanted to kind of just do our best, and unfortunately, whenever we do this, I mean, this is why I was so late. I was just trying to think of every single possible thing, every single possible person that we could shout out, and we'll never do it.
It,
We'll never get them
it's
all.
impossible.
But I really wanted to go through and talk about both old school, the OGs, and talk about also, some really cool new stuff that's happening as well. And again, this is not to downplay or miss anybody. It's just all positive. Just wanting to, just
Hey,
wanting to shout people out.
yeah, and guys, when we were talking about this, there's a couple reasons why we brought this up. We were going to go over access, we were going to go over just items in general. We were really going to keep it more strategic and brought it, to the community for a specific reason. Honestly, looking at it on the slide right here, it looks corny. We've mentioned this a lot of times. But I want to give a little bit of background as to why this is important. And again, we've talked about it before.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Baronar and I have gotten into a few outside just investment projects, and some have taken off and some have kind of dwindled. And what we've kind of come to agree on is the thing that helps projects grow isn't always the team. It tends to be the community, because the community is the ones who are welcoming people in who are looking for questions. They're the ones who are showing a positive face to the world on Twitter. And Axie is really special in this regard. I think that we've got one of the best communities in the whole space. Half of us freaking have Axies as our profile picture. Everything that we do is expressing our interest in this project, and that's what makes us more accessible.
Yeah.
Um,
And beyond that too, like this is supposed to be a decentralized space, right? That's one of the main benefits of the crypto space is the decentralization. So, it makes sense that the community is going to have a giant impact on how things are going to go forward with respect to any project in the cryptocurrency space. And NFTs, what we're finding more and more is that it's even more important in the NFT space. Like who's going to get super attached to Aave tokens? I don't,
and and that's the thing. We've got Flying Falcon in the chat, which is awesome to see.
yeah, so
Welcome.
cool.
But he says community is the moat, and it's true. It's so true. Like, all of these fly by night projects. This is the thing. We're kind of getting back into like 2017 territory with all these ICOs, right? But now it's DeFi and now it's NFTs. Everybody's spinning up projects on a daily basis. There's a lot of shiny things taking people's attention and money every day. And the ones that can't keep a core community around them, the ones that can't like quickly build friendships and get people interested to come back, those are the ones that aren't going to last, no matter how devoted the team is going to be. And I've seen some pretty, dedicated teams that haven't been able to keep things sticking because they can't
With great
foster that
ideas
community
too. Yeah,
with great ideas.
yeah.
Yeah. And talented. And it's I don't know. Again, I don't want to get sappy. I don't want to get corny on this stuff, and we've got a lot to show you here. But it really is important. We keep talking about people stepping up and doing specific things
Yeah.
and whatever. And it's listen, guys. It's not even that. It's not even the people who are developing things on top of the Axie API. It's not even us coming on here. It's not even necessarily the scholarship owners. And guys, I was laughing so hard I saw somebody mention that AK better be on the next slide. Um, but it really is the whole combination of everything, and that's kind of what we're putting out here today.
Yeah, yeah. So the next slide doesn't have AK, but he's on slides. Don't worry about it. The next slide,
Oh my
I wanted
god.
to go through all the player spotlights, okay? Because I mean, these were some of the people that were picked by the Axie team.
No,
Um,
notice how AK's not in this slide, but Baronar's on this slide.
I should have just
Oh
pulled
my
mine off.
god, you should have pulled yours up. Dude, we're gonna need to get AK on here in one of these next episodes.
Hey,
Like
we've
this
tried, we
stat.
try, man.
I know. Oh my god. Yeah, but now I think you pissed him off enough that he might show up this time.
I should have just taken my name off. You guys are all giving me hell now.
Oh
But
my god.
the point
Okay,
is,
go on.
these are the player spotlights to this point, and I'm yeah, no, we're gonna get AK for sure. The point is here, these are some people that again have done huge things for the community. Xhuman's the one that got me involved at all. Gabby, gigantic contributor now. What I mean, multi-millionaire, playboy, philanthropist type of guy. I don't. It's cool to see what's happening with Gabby. Our C-Tech, Owl, Switch and Hound, Cloud. We already talked about Cloud. Cuckoo doing amazing things too. I'm just kind of hanging out. I got lucky. But this is the slide here. Okay, so and AK, you're here. So, but it takes a giant community.
This is such like a consolation trophy. Like, hey, you're on this screenshot
I don't know what
of
else to
creators
say.
and stuff. Oh my god. Okay, I'm
AK
sorry.
has done
I'm gonna
amazing
mute
things.
myself.
AK's been talked about more. If anybody does a word count on this Axie chat, it will have said AK more than anything
AK,
else.
AK.
So, um, we actually have AK again too. So he's on
Oh
another
my
slide.
god. All right.
So, but
If you say his name one more time, he's gonna appear in front of me.
that'd be pretty cool. Anyway, so I didn't even get Masamune on here. So there you go. I just realized I
There you
didn't.
go.
But
Yeah.
yeah, this is worth kind of shouting some of these people out. Again, actually, did I get Odin on here? Oh boy. Oh boy. Love you, Odin.
And this is why we've put this off for so long, because it's so hard to get everybody involved here. And
Yeah.
you know what? If Odin was online doing his freaking job as a moderator, he'd be on this slide.
But again, team. So psych out. Gosh, amazing guy. Doing so much for this this experience, this space. The guy for a while there, it seemed like he was on a podcast or being interviewed like 2 times a day. It was incredible there. So I still remember the Axis drop and him running that stream. It was such a great time. Jiho, Trung, everybody who's taken the time to be an Axie Angel. That's it's I don't know. It's kind of a prestigious thing, I guess. So it's cool to
I
be
was
an
gonna say
Axie.
it's definitely an unpaid position.
Yeah, yeah. It's uh, more responsibility than anything else. But Coco obviously. Gosh, I mean the team
But
said it multiple times. Without Coco, this would probably not exist anymore.
I mean, it really takes a village, right? I mean, even the core team, again, going back to the comparison with some of these other projects, like you can put your head down and build, and if you don't keep building and keep fostering, like none of this happens. So props to the core team. They've been and this has been mentioned a few times too, but the team at Sky Mavis has been growing exponentially. I think they've added like 15 heads this year and are at like 30 people now. I don't know any of their names, and props to them for grinding it out and doing stuff that we love. The moderators keeping things, civil and
Yeah.
and helping people figure out their problems and stuff. The angels for just guiding people and directing them and helping again, I guess, figuring out the problems. The developers, again, Freak has a bunch of, and this is the thing is I don't want to go into everything that
Gosh, and
every single person
Freak is
does.
so quiet. He hardly says anything, but his contributions to the space are kind of hard to even put into your mind, with his tool and the different things that he makes available
Well,
to us.
I mean, breeding wouldn't be the same without his, people wouldn't be able to figure out the R2 and, all that stuff. He's got so much cool stuff. And I mean, let's go back to the content creators now. All these people putting out YouTube videos, streaming, like, again, this is the stuff that, people maybe don't recognize as being core contributions, but they are. All of this together, all of these people who are, going out and, oh, yeah, he's pointing out AK. Um, but who are going out and constantly having Axie Infinity listed in Twitch as this is what we're doing right now. It pops us up to somewhere on the top of the list. And then you've got like freaking Chief and Axe who are running the whole entire esports scene.
Yeah.
Like it's just killer. I don't. Yeah. Oh, there you go. I haven't seen those avatars before.
Oh yeah, hype and
Um,
hair. Yeah.
I mean, and I don't know how many more slides you have, but you
Got a
know,
few more.
another huge thing here is um, the scholarship runners.
Absolutely.
Um, if and AK is one of them. But dude, look at how many people came into this community um, looking for something during the pandemic. They're looking for a way to earn a living, and then we've got all these scholarships popping up. And again, I'm not going to list everybody because I'm going to screw it all up. But we've got a lot of different platforms now to choose from, and it's still cluttered. But these people, I swear, are probably responsible for a third of the player base at this point. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's incredible. When we talk about, some of the people that come in through the esports side, we've got Indus. I mean, AK's showing up really strong, in the esports side. Z, and then we have a lot of uh, the other YGG, Axie GG, all the different, clans, Levox, all the different people that have come forth and done really incredible things in the space and brought lots of people with them.
Geo in chat, why do I see my face? Geo, why is there a big rainbow surrounding your face? That's the real question.
Don't you love that? I thought that was the best, when I was creating that emoji. That just summarizes, Jiho for me. The rainbow circles.
And listen, I'm going to give a shout out in chat. We've got Yusolf. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but he says, me new, knowing no one, just vibing. Dude, I love that. Honestly, any contribution is awesome. And this is the awesome thing about the space is
Yeah.
because all of these people were new. Dude, I lurked on the server for a year before poking my head out once. Like it's absurd. And now I'm doing all this stuff. And and this isn't to stress people out being like, oh,
No.
you have to contribute.
No. No. No.
But just being, somewhat active and sticking your head out occasionally and saying, hey, what up? That's big. It shows people that we're active and activity is what draws in new people. Like it all comes together. It's one big circular family that's growing together, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and that's the whole point. It's not to like say anybody's more special than anybody else. We're glad for the 38,000 people in the Discord chat and all of our daily users and everything that we have, whether it's, somebody working on scholarship in order to accumulate some assets and play to earn, or, whether it's, Coco. So, it's just fun to kind of go through and really we wanted on Axie Chat to acknowledge some of these great
And
contributors.
I mean, acknowledge and also show like how absurd some of these contributions are that helps out. I mean, like you can you can point out Coco and Freak and Jiho, or you can point out Cloud White, who's literally paying people to get tattoos of Axies on
Yeah,
them. Like
dude, incredible.
it's such a broad spectrum of crazy stuff that's going on. It's awesome, man.
Yeah, it is. Ed, I don't even think we said Ed, but we have his little silhouette there. He's done a ton for the community as well. Um, yeah. So again, this isn't to be an or a completely inclusive list. This is
Oh,
just to shout some people out.
yeah, this isn't even half of it, guys.
Yeah. So this is the other AK one. You wanted me to put this one up here, this POB.
Yeah. So this screen, there's a couple things I wanted to point out on this screen is just the way that we've been able to, and again, it's contributions without necessarily like meaning to contribute, right? It's just that Axie's a way of life. So, that's why we've got Axies as our avatars, and that's why we do certain things. And so POB, Proof of Beauty, is a project that came out where you can mint a transaction, and AK went out and minted. I don't know which exact transaction this is, but
Oh, you can't tell by
maybe you can.
the half circles and quarter circles.
No, nope. But the point is this was an Axie that was meaningful to him, or for some reason a transaction that was meaningful for him
Yeah,
in the
tell us,
Axie
AK.
space, and he's been promoting it that way too. Whereas some of these people might not have been exposed to Axies, and now they see this thing and they're like, whatever. Oh, it's Axie number 5. Sorry guys, I didn't know that.
Ah, cool.
On the far right, a shout out to Arctic, who is involved with another artist who makes these little crypto credit cards called Lux. And he got involved and was shilling Axie and wanting to do an Axie credit card for a long time. Again, it's kind of it's interesting because we love this community so much, this thing that we're all building together, that we're kind of building these unofficial partnerships with these other projects, and it's just really cool to see. We've got a lot of cool artists in the middle. I'm trying to. Do you have names by any chance?
I can't. Was
No, I
that
feel like a jerk.
Pio Piach?
Oh,
This
the
the
SLP was FOC,
Oh, that's right.
FOCC.
That's right.
So we've got some
Milky
artists
did this
who are making a
Merry
lot of cool
Christmas one,
stuff.
which I just
Yep.
showed up in my wallet. So thanks, Milky. So freaking cool.
And that was a nice little surprise. It was
Yeah.
just something that nobody expected and popped up. So that was awesome.
Yeah, it was so cool. And so wanted to show these kind of unique use cases that people are pushing in the community and kind of pumping out. But one of them that I've been really interested in because I've seen him popping up is a new artist that's hit the scene, and it's Miski, doing some really cool avatar work. What we have here is we have Indus, is the plant there at the top, with the Kataro question mark eyes. I love that one so much. Um,
Yep.
and then we've got Wise, with that with that crazy bug. So so cool. What a
Dude, I
what a
love it.
cool interpretation. And then we have SBD's uh, quad, right?
Yeah.
And it's just holding the love potion. I love that because it kind of looks like it's been hitting the juice like Enjoi. And
I have a headache. I'm trying to get rid of it.
it's
Man,
it's this stuff's so cool. And
it's medicine.
I've talked just kind of briefly with Miski. Just freaking love what he's come up with. I think but I don't know for sure. And just even his logo is awesome. I think it's so cool. But I wanted to give a shout out to this work. Just so freaking awesome. Hoping that I can maybe get one of them for myself. We'll see.
Before prices
Yeah,
skyrocket
now
because
now
of demand.
I probably just shot myself in the foot.
And part of the reason I was interested in talking about this piece of it too is Jiho just put out a YouTube video talking about how
Ah, yeah,
to,
avatars.
how important it is that, yeah, that we show off our love in avatars, and how to make them easily and stuff like that. And people are taking it above and beyond, and they're paying artists to to come up with interpretations of their favorite
Yeah.
Axies as their I don't know, face to the world. And I just think that's so cool is people are taking, again, it's just showing love to the community. It's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so good job. I mean, and then there's also new ones. I try to hit everybody that I see coming out with some new kind of stuff. This is the PH1, right? The render. Um,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that freaking looks awesome.
It's incredible.
That's such a
It's
cool interpretation.
so cool. And then, Elijah, he's been putting out some great content here recently. I loved his one about that he bought a Mystic. This is the sort of stuff that I think really broadens our audience, broadens the potential pool of adopters to Axie Infinity, and
Right.
again, that's why we wanted to highlight the community this go around, and just kind of say thanks. Like, and whether you're you showed up here or not, if you talk to your buddy or your friend, or your kid or cousin or whatever about Axie, there's going to come a time soon when it's really easy to onboard, and that's going to be a huge thing for the community in general. So just thanks, I guess, is ultimately what we wanted to say, right, Enjoy?
Uh, yeah, I wasn't listening. I was reading chat, but I
It's
I
fine.
agree 100% with whatever you just said.
That's we
It was
wanted to
very
say
good.
thanks, and that was really the whole point. We wanted to specifically say thank you to the community. We know we're a part of it, and we're really grateful for the support that we get from the community as well, and definitely want to throw our support behind the community. There's still great things, Axie Tree, I mean,
The
YGG's
different
become
guilds that are popping up. Yeah.
a giant thing. All those things are going to be just awesome going into the future, and yeah, it's just so
And
cool.
and guys, outside of the love letter to the community that this is turning out to be, I think it's cool in another way too, because it's almost documenting like the non-roadmap items that have been like completed by people that aren't part of the team, right? Like we can go back and look at the roadmap and put check marks next to,
Yep,
Ronin item migration, whatever, access launch, all that stuff. But all this other stuff is like it's just really cool. Like the Axie tree I think is going to be huge once Ronin hits or gas drops. Some of these videos that people are making about how to get started are huge for onboarding.
giant.
This is stuff that like I, I don't know, the team would probably have to hire a few more people to get it done, and it's getting made with more love than
Yeah,
I think that they could possibly do, because there's a difference between people doing it because they're passionate about it and people doing it for a paycheck. Not saying that that's the team's motivation, but it's just nice getting this stuff in different voices.
absolutely. No, absolutely agree. To me, it really makes me excited that we are in a decentralized project, and the community that has come about in this space is it gets me excited for where we're headed, because there's a lot of big brains, a lot of creative folks, a lot of people who want to protect and make sure that what Axie Infinity is and becomes stays something really really good, positive, valuable, something that's going to be good for a lot of people for a long time. So sweet, excellent.
Sweet. Who made this one? This one's awesome. I love this pixel
Is this
art
one
animation
Milky? I
stuff.
can't remember if that one's, or if I can't remember for sure on
That
that
one
one.
was as Ezekiel XD.
Ah, that's right. And so a couple things just to kind of remind people of. I guess uh, the team sounds like they're hard at work at the Axie
Oh,
migration.
AK is saying it's a sofa. I don't know,
Oh,
guys. I'm sorry. Again, we're terrible. It's in the art channel, in
yeah.
the artist channel.
We love seeing it for sure. Keep it up. It gets people really excited to see, representations of their Axies and the Axie world. Um, But again, Jiho dropped a new FAQ. I've looked through it. It's really useful. If you have questions, I think that one's on Notion, if I remember right. Yeah,
Yep.
Notion.so. And they're. I'm excited to see. The Ronin 21 should be coming pretty soon. Jiho,
Jiho.
if you're still there
Jiho.
in chat, we'd love to
I
know if there's a time frame. I mean, in the past, these things have come quite quickly. After the date that they were.
Jiho.
He disappears.
I sound like my kid talking to our Google Mini thing. Hey Google. Hey Google.
You're gonna have something wake up back there. You better be careful.
I know. My wife's sleeping.
Yeah, but again, I think I saw Psych Out saying this too. Like they're working really hard on the Axie migration. I think that it's super high priority. Really excited to hear more about Battles version 2. Indus, I assume, is one of them that's able to tell us. So Indus, what do you have to tell us about Battles version 2? Now he says when V2, but I think he's playing. I think he's kind of both playing the game and playing with us. He's got to be.
Look, in the roadmap it says Q1 Axie Battle Beta.
Yeah.
I mean, we're at the end of Q1. Who knows? They might be running a little bit late. But I mean, it's got to be coming soon. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Well, it might. If he's telling us the truth, he's not really in it. He'll be in it soon, I would expect. So, but excited about that. Excited to see what's going to come. Really was excited to hear in the development update that Ubisoft felt like it was a big step in the right direction. So that's really cool too.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, gosh, man, where are we headed?
Lunasia. The moon.
The moons of Lunasia, man. So again, I'm so excited. I want to again thank everybody who supports this project that we're in, but want to thank everybody in the community. And we'll get back to more of our normal feature presentation. We have a couple things in mind that we want to go, and if we can ever get AK to agree to come on, we'll have him join us.
If he stops faking sick. Just kidding, AK.
Yeah, we're just giving you a hard time. But yeah, so hey, he says next week. That'd be awesome. Oh gosh, dang it, Moon March. I didn't get this slide changed. We're out of February, but it did feel good.
Feels like it's over February.
Yeah, it was crazy. Crazy how quickly February came and went. But yeah, again, man, thanks for hanging out with us on Axie Chat. It was kind of crazy how much effort it took to put that together. It feels like it kind of went real quick, but gosh, thanks guys.
If you want the full list of community members that we appreciate, just go in Discord and scroll down the right-hand
side.
All 100%. 38,000 of them.
Yep.
Oh my God, I'm so corny. All right, let's get out of here before I say something else I regret.
No, it's so yeah. We're excited again every time I wrap this thing up. I hate to just repeat myself, but I get excited for the next week to come. So
for sure, man.
Looking forward to next week already. And yeah, hey everybody, Axie hard. Have a great time in Lunasia, everybody. And I think things are happening quicker than we can even realize. Like all of a sudden, we're gonna be showing version 2 battles on Axie Chat. We're gonna have Indus finally come clean that he's been playing it for a while. Show us.
I want the Gizmodo early leak. I want some recordings. Give them to us. Let us leak them early. Don't tell I'm just kidding. Well, maybe
let's get it, man. Let's get it.
Jiho, don't ban me. All right, we're out of here. Again, I said we need to finish this before I say something I regret. Now I'm getting banned.
Let's just keep this going because now it's getting fun. Right? I can't wait to hear what Enjoi's gonna say.
Stupid things.
All right, and I'm looking forward to Rolling Boy and VZ and all the guys putting out some great content. So awesome.
I put them both in my list. Where were they?
Dude, I ran out of time. Everybody wanted us to get on chat, and I'm still
Oh
trying
my
to
God.
wrangle everything up. I mean,
It's your
to be
fault. You
honest, we were
rushed us.
ready. We were ready to go through items today, and we kind of decided last
We
minute
changed last minute, yeah,
to
like
switch it
an
up.
hour
So,
before the show.
yep,
All right, guys. Anyways, love
yep.
you all.
Hey,
We'll see you
absolutely.
next week.
Much love.
Hey, Axie Chat, Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. Follow us on Twitter at Axie Chat, all the stuff that other people say. All
Podcasts
right,
and
I'm out of here. See you guys.
see ya.